Now we can finalize the background and the foreground. So what we are missing actually is to work on this area, and then to play a little bit with the, I would say, fog for the forest here far away. And I mean, one thing at a time. I've seen that we have a photo here that we tested at the beginning for the field. Now maybe we don't need this because I understand that we still have the same kind of environment in the background photo. So maybe we can do the same work, the same job with one, less layer, which is always good because if you can simplify, your workflow, that's a bonus. So let's see if we can, get something under the render if we have enough photo here to work. And so I hide the render for a second, and as you can see, we have it. So what we can do here, actually the problem, it's in the render itself, you see, is this kind of gray floor we left in the render is probably a mistake. So how can we fix it? We can just check in the masks here. If we have it, you see, we have that selection. It's the red selection. We don't need the entire red selection. We just need this area. So what to do? We need to go back into the channels, control click on the red channel thumbnail. So we have the selection. And then with the rectangular selection, we can just make, we can make a choice. We can subtract this area, or we can intersect this one. Okay, so to subtract, we press Alt and we do this. So we get the right selection, or we can press Shift Alt, and you can see on the icon of the mouse we have a X, which means intersection, and we can just select this area, and boom, we have the same result. So one of the other. Okay, it's up to you. So I go back here in the render, and we can then invert the selection, Ctrl Shift I, and if we hide the mask, we can do this, and as you can see, it works. So this is one way. Another way, which is probably even better, is to just copy the mask, okay, and bring the mask inside the smart object here, okay? So if we open the smart object of the beauty pass, okay, oh, we also have the mask, you see? This is from the beginning, the first video. You see, this is, that's why we do that, because otherwise, it could be a mess, because the size of the mask is different than the entire canvas. And once you paste this mask from the 16-bit to the 32-bit, it could move. So then you need to, place it again in the right spot. It could be a mess, okay? So we have it here because we made a copy of all the masks at the beginning, and that was a great idea. So let's do it now. Let's select again this area. But before doing that, actually, we need to put a mask on the entire layer here, the original one. Because what I want to do is now to select this area, again, Control click and then Shift Alt to intersect. Here we go. And now I will invert this mask. If I hide the masks, you will see now it's probably gone. Why is not going away? Weird. Let's try again. Okay, sounds cool. Okay, now it worked. Probably I had a couple of masks visible and they were in add mode, so that's why. Now it's working, as you can see. Sometimes I make mistakes, sometimes, shit happens, and I will not delete my mistakes from these videos. And the reason is sometimes you can make the same mistakes. So if you look at how I solved them, then it's a plus. It's something better for you. Okay. And then that's it. Now, you may have one problem if you have a mask applied to the beauty pass, and that could be a fringe on the borders, because if you have a mask anyway, you have some of the old pixels on the fringe of the image. So if you have any of this problem, remember, make a copy, hide the original one, apply the mask, and then it should be all right. And if you still have some problems, you remember you can go here, layer, matting the fringe. Okay. The fringe doesn't work well if you have transparent objects like glasses or water on the border. Okay, so be careful with this, with the fringe. Anyway, if you have a copy of the layer, you can trial and error. You can go back to the original one and try again. But now I save, I click on yes, so I close, I click on save yes, and I wait for these to complete, and then we can check. So basically, if you want to hide part of the render, it's always better to do it in the 32-bit. It's way more detailed, and you don't get any fringe normally. So this is working. This is working well. I feel like we need to fix the height of the background. I feel like is too high, so I'm going to press Shift and bring it down a little bit. Okay. You can do it also with the arrow keys on the keyboard. So, one thing is to follow, the rules and to follow the guidelines. But please, guys, trust your feelings and trust your eyes anyway. And anyway, this is correct, because if you think about the horizon of this photo, the horizon of this photo is not here. Okay, things continue, and probably the horizon of this photo is actually here. Okay, even maybe higher. But anyway, I feel like this is a lot better than the original position. And then when you find the horizon, you the right height, you can also move the photo on the left, on the right. Actually, if you see here, we have some lines of this kind of crop field, and you should to make it better, to make it like even better, you need to kind of get the same perspective that you have in this render line, but now is not possible. That's because the photo is taken frontally. But anyway, this is not wrong. This is not wrong. It's just, right now, basically, you have this crop fields going in another direction. They are not parallel to the building. But, it could be. It's not wrong. It's just unpleasant probably to see, but that's it. Okay. So now I look at the, piece of the image I like the most. And there's something you can do here. Actually, you can add a layer on top, an empty layer. You can apply that empty layer to the previous one. So you can attach it pressing Alt and clicking in the middle. And then you can do something like this. You can take a brush, okay, maybe soft brush. And then you can pick a color from, you see, actually very close to this area. So something close to the sky, in the sky, I would say. And then you can paint a little bit like this, going down with the opacity. And then if you zoom in, you need the lasso, not the polygonal lasso, but the lasso tool. And it's better if you use the pen because you are way more precise doing this. And now you need to choose one line of trees to follow, okay? So I will probably keep, I don't know, I will probably take this one, okay? And you have to do like a very, customized job here. You need to follow this line as much as you can. You can just, try and many times. I don't care about being perfect. This area will be very small in the end. So, try. And once you're done, actually what you do is this. You select all the area around here. Okay, so this is the selection. And I will mask this layer with this selection. And don't worry if it's not perfect. We can fix it later on, okay? Maybe we can blur a little bit. But actually, well, it should start from here. So I'm painting this with a very small and soft brush. And we can paint here the fringe here. See? So we don't get those dark spots, which are not cool. This, or you can select the mask and go to filter, blur, Gaussian blur, and give it up, a few points of blur. But anyway, as you can see, it works. Now the effect is too strong, but we don't care because we can just go down with the opacity. See? And now it is like pushing this area far away. See? It gets more, the image gets more depth, and you can do this many times. Of course, don't exaggerate with the opacity in both ways. But a little bit, it's great to feel like that area is kind of far away. Okay, so something, and this is something you can do many times. Remember, and the more you do, the more like further the area will look. Okay. So this is the idea. Okay, and we can also go on the foreground here and add a curve, and maybe go a little bit down here with the brightness, and use a very big brush with a black value on the mask of the curve, because you want to keep this darkness only on the corners, maybe only on the right corner. Remember the video about the image plan, about the loop? Maybe this area can be a little bit darker so your eyes will not go there. Okay, so I mean, this is something we can do anyway in a second moment when we play with the adjustments on the entire image. But it's about the foreground and background, so it's worth to is worth to, make it now. I mean, anyway, remember that you need to work on the saturation of these areas sooner or later. Some of them are, too colorful probably. But the right thing is to go outside and take your own pictures and keep them with you, and to understand how strong should be a color in this moment of the day, because these photos are probably taken in a different hour than the render. And so maybe we need to add a little bit of red, a little bit of orange on this vegetation here. And I mean, we can do this in another moment, but at least now we have complete scene, okay, background, foreground. So maybe we can add some bushes here, like a bush here. But that is another type of exercise, because that would be a prop, okay. And at least now we have a base to work on, and I feel better when I have something like this, because there's nothing that kind of distract me. Now the thing that distract me more than anything else is the swimming pool, but it's because it's empty, there's no water. So in the next video, we are going to add some, glasses, some windows glasses, and some water to complete the scene. So we can then do the rest of the post-production with like adjustments and details and, color correction, color grading. We can add some smoke, we can add some fog, and some finalization.